Even our dogs see anything with that man, we do their reading first every day of their life. There are wonderful times of us going fishing, taught me how to golf, going on trips, taking our annual vacation to John Lake, picnics at Riverside Park that we always look forward to. The way he enjoys bringing piggyback right up our stairs because we need that. There are so many memories I just cannot name them all right now. My dad was a wonderful man, but he also had a stubborn streak in him too. During one of my recent visits with Dad at the nursing home, he was sitting in his chair while we were talking. There was an emotional arm pad Dad had sit on because he was trying to get up and walk instead of pressing his call button. And this would have worked with staff to come down. While I was sitting there talking to Dad, he turned to me and said, "Teresa, why don't you come over and sit in this chair for me so I can get up and walk on arm and go on?" I just shook my head at him and said, "I'm sorry, Dad, but I just can't do that." And I explained why to him again. I admired him for his strong will and thought to myself, "Dad, sounds like something I would try to do." But my dad had such a soft side to him too. He could be stern, but was also a kind, honest, compassionate man that you could always count on to be there for you. He worked hard all his life to support his family and would always help anyone in need. People and animals alike. He always taught us right and wrong. He was a loving husband, father, and grandfather. My mom and his family were the most important thing in the world to him, as he was to us. The world was such a better place with him in it that it would be hard to imagine without him. I know he's looking down from heaven, wishing we would not cry for him, and trying to sound us out. Then again, we didn't always take his advice either, and this was going to be one of those times. I'm always busy now.
Some of you came far away to be here. My cousin Mary came from Illinois, who I haven't seen in a long, long time. My dear, dear cousins, Emily and Teresa, came all the way from D.C., even though they lost their own mom just 3 months ago. I know my dad. Their mom are out there right now, kicking back and having a really good time together. Probably just cracking a lot of jokes about all of us down here right now. So before I begin, I'd really like to thank all of you here on behalf of my mom, my siblings, and myself for your efforts, large and small, to be here today to help us mark my dad's passing. Each of you here had your own relationship with my dad, and each of you had your own set of memories. I don't presume to know the man that you knew, but I hope that with these words spoken by myself and my siblings today, you will recognize some part of the man that we all knew, the man that is no longer amongst us, the man who will never be gone, and to all of us here in the past. My father was part of the greatest generation. He served in Panama during World War II, the time he discussed murder with us girls, but also with my brother. I think he thought us girls just couldn't hear those stories, but one story he did tell me was about a stray dog that he unofficially adopted during his stay there. He fed it, played with it, and loved this dog. And one night, when he heard this dog screaming loudly in the jungle, the victim of some unknown creature, his heart broke. He never forgot that dog, and he never saw that dog again. The pain of that loss stayed with him his whole life, and he only told me that story a couple years ago, so I know how much that dog meant to him. This story offers a glimpse into the tender heart of my dad. He always had a tender heart for anything and anyone who needed help. If one of us kids showed up with a stray cat or a dog that we had found, the first thing out of my dad's mouth were always very loud. Oh no, we're not keeping that thing. But after a few minutes of pleading from us kids, and after he was resistant, petting whatever it was we brought home, he would say, "You kids need to go feed that thing." And that's when we knew everything was fine. We had another new member of our family. Dad loved every pet we ever had, and he was really hammered by the death of our border collie Sandy, who he enjoyed walking every day for many, many years. I'm sure his heaven has Sandy in it as well as all of his beloved pets and loved ones, and that he's bursting with happiness and joy along with them. Dad's tender heart extended to anyone who needed help or guidance, often kids that entered our world, sometimes relatives, sometimes our school friends and neighbors. He was the second father to many and helped shape many of our lives into the fine people they are today. You would never know that he did any of this since he never spoke of it. But it shows that Dad always believed. Help others, take care of family, and demonstrate the compassion and peace through your words, deeds, and actions. Dad did that every day of his life. A few months before he died, when he was in the hospital but doing well enough to be released, Dad and I had feelings alone, and out of the blue he said, "Honey, you have to let me go." I was a stubborn girl, the product of a very stubborn man, and I said the first thing that popped into my head, "No, Dad, I'll never let you go." I suppose Dad knew his days were numbered and he was trying to tell me in his own way. But I know what I said then, and I mean what I say it now. I'll never let you go, Dad. I'll see you again someday. And maybe until then, you will always be in my heart. I love you, Dad.
On behalf of my sister-in-law, Charlotte, I'd like to share this brief story. Bill Sr. Never failed up to his 91 years of life to surprise his family. And Charlotte likes to recall that on one of his recent stays in the hospital, she was looking to find him some of his favorite reading material, but there wasn't anything to be found. So as a last-ditch effort, she grabbed $1 and playing cards, although that had not been part of Bill's nature to play cards. It soon became one of his favorite pastimes with the family over these past months, so much so, in fact, that the night before he passed, he was speaking to his son, and he said, "I need to go, Charlotte's ready to play cards." And so, on behalf of Charlotte and the family, and everybody who came here to appreciate Bill's life and his contributions, thank you for being here, and please keep him in your thoughts, keep the family in your thoughts and prayers. Thank you.
My father's obituary gives facts and figures and names and dates, but really fails to capture his essence, and I suppose I was. My Uncle Jeff once said in a eulogy for another family member that her soul had been only on loan to us for only a painfully brief moment in eternity and then called back to God. As y'all know, my dad's soul was called back Monday morning, shortly before the rest of us were to leave for work. Many of you knew him, probably few of us knew him well. He was so modest and quiet, self-effacing. It was very difficult to know him well by his words, but you knew him very much by his deeds. He was humorous and funny, but he would never steal the show from others. He was very protective and quietly, very strongly loving his wife and children. He was well-read and spent much of his past 20 years or more reading voraciously, and he's the only one I know, other than I suppose Father Rudolph, who read the Bible from cover to cover more than once. But he was very unpretentious. He could seem really stern and tough and distant, as my sisters do from the outside. Yet, as my sisters and I grew to know him, we found him to be really a cover for a very sensitive, soft, and gushy inside. If I had to give you a Hollywood model, close in some ways to my dad, I'd be the father in the movie A Christmas Story. Just like that father who knew that his son only really wanted a Red Ryder BB gun for Christmas, my dad always supplies me with the science kits and the chemistry labs, the telescopes, books, and models that I really wanted. These rather nerdy gifts guided and stoked my interest, and ultimately helped lead me to my work at NASA. In addition to being able to read the mind of his young son, my dad is at times, as also my sisters have alluded to, very stubborn and very convinced when he believed he was in the right. And just kind of running the clock backward. His quiet stubbornness, I believe, and his faith enabled him to do something that many in this country could not do in 1947. Like a lot of vets, when he got out of the U.S. Army Air Force, about 2 years later, he enrolled at Miami University here in Ohio. He was randomly assigned to a dorm room with 2 other guys. It was 3 to a room. And again, keep in mind the year 1947. One of the roommates he was assigned to was black. And in those days, he, white guy, could have easily requested a roommate be assigned, no questions asked, no repercussions, no one would have thought twice about it, and his roommate probably wouldn't have made a statement either. He didn't do that. He did not judge his roommate based on his color, despite enormous social pressures to do that. Rather, he followed his Christian upbringing and waited to judge this man by his deeds and his words. After seeing that both of his roommates were decent, hard-working students, he stayed with them all 4 years. He suffered a lot of ostracism on campus for this. This was, by the time he graduated in 51, this was still 4 years before Rosa Parks. He preceded her by 4 years, and he had nothing to gain. He didn't march or wave banners. He just quietly, very stubbornly, did what he knew was right. So his quiet stubbornness often kept him a real enigma to my sisters and I. And this stubbornness was demonstrated in the nursing home during his final weeks. He just could not accept his failing legs. And as my sisters have said, he was assigned to a bed with a motion alarm. And he often tried to defy those rules. He was trying to stand up Monday morning, about 5 in the morning, without assistance. A nursing aide came in, saw what was going on, and while holding him and settling him back into his bed, he slumped over, dying right there. Dying right there. God had ended the 91-year home. That was a wonderful soul. He returned him home to be with his parents, his brother John, and his 2 sisters, Irene and Louise. So that Buckingham family is now complete again, enjoying paradise with their Maker. And it is my hope that you will join me, my family, in thanking the Almighty for the long, long strong, very devout soul in a world that desperately needs more souls like that. Apologize for the waterworks, must be my allergies.